Good afternoon, everybody. It's Duke here, Blue Torpedo. It's Thursday the 22nd. Up here working in the orchard doing some decorative landscaping with some rocks. Go figure, rocks. If you've watched any of my videos, I pretty much always talk about rocks. And as most of you know, I got an abundance of them. So over time, I've created a rock-piered split rail fence, I guess you could call it, and I get a ton of compliments on it, and people just say, "Oh man, that looks so cool and ranchy like." So I just wanted to show you a tutorial on how I'm doing it, and if it's something that you want to do. Very, very simple, very, very cheap. On the retail market, I would believe that you're probably talking about, if you put labor and everything into it and stuff like that, you're probably looking at about $1,000 deal just to do a 13-foot fence. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the rundown of basically what I do, and show you a little bit about the construction of them. So hopefully it's something that you want to do. Who knows? If not, enjoy the video anyways. So again, out here in the orchard, and the idea of this was to as I have the trees and I have a trail coming up through here, I just wanted something to break up the landscape a little bit. And so what we did is I went to Royal King and I bought me the high quality 2x4 wire. Now I did trim this down slightly to where it's about just under chest height, and the reason for that is because I'm going to fill those with stone, and I need to be able to reach down inside, and I still can. I'm still about a foot from the bottom, but it allows me to work with them and not get my arm hung up at the top row there. Then I went ahead and got some split rail fence. You can normally find those at pretty much any co-op or anything like that, Home Depot, whatever. And so the setup of the cage, cut the cage down, and I've done some others. These are going to measure out about 17 inches in circumference. And then I went to the edge after I made my cut. I left an extension, so when I cut that wire to the extent, I cut over here, and then I'm taking this piece and then I'm folding it back around the wire itself. So I'm overlapping it and then folding it around. You can see the hook that I got, and I'm crimping that down. That way it can't bust out. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm overlapping two squares at the edge, so you don't get like a pivot point. And then as I'm building them, I took a piece of aluminum wire and I just did 3 clips on that to keep that centerpiece from swinging in. On the bottom, I basically just took and made a end cap and basically did the same exact thing. You can see where I've overlapped it and brought it in. That's to keep the cage from spreading at any point. Now on me, these are 11-foot split rail posts, very, very common product out there. These are measuring fence to fence, or cage to cage, I guess you could say. They're going to measure out about 10 foot 4 inches. So I basically split the difference. These are coming into the cage. They fit perfectly through the square. And then I did 5 tiers up. That allows me to get my mower up underneath of it without doing any excessive trimming. And then I just kept one down. Now when this is done, this will be all full of rock. That'll be covered. I do not do any concrete in these. No stakes, no nothing. I've leveled them out the best that I can. Put them on solid ground, which obviously I have up here. And, just go ahead and build it up from there. And people say, oh, what if something falls over? So it falls over. Officially I've probably got in this setup, aside from the rock, I've got maybe an hour of time, hour and a half of time. A little bit of travel to and from the store to get the materials, the raw materials. I don't have any screws, nothing like that. Pretty natural, other than, of course, the wire and, the pre-cut split rails, which are also pressure treated. And then that's a galvanized wire, and I'm anticipating from, again, it's not the cheap wire, it's the better stuff. You can see it's very difficult to bend on that. So over time, they may rust out, 20 years, 25, maybe 30 years. At that point, I'll probably be dead and gone, and Nick can deal with it, or someone else. But, officially, if something was to happen and it was to fall over, I can tell you the wind's not going to knock it over. By the time you fill that thing with rock, you're probably talking 800 to 1,000 pound, in that thing. But even if it did, you basically rebuild a fence, a cage wire, and you put your same rock that fell out of it back in. You know that the rock's going to fill it. So it should be a very long-lasting deal. And the rock in the cage is not going to require any maintenance. You may have to seal these split rails every now and then, but that would be, few and far between. And I know for sure that you can actually take these out once the rock is in place. You can actually take them out because everything's locking in, and you can slide them just enough to get them out of there, or cut them, pull them out, and do something different. Also, you could use, go through your trees, cut limbs, shorten these up, shorten the piers or whatever, and just put sticks in between them. You could actually even cut the cost on that. So officially, in between that, I don't know, you probably got, I'm going to say that section of fence without the rock is probably less than 25 bucks. Okay, so as we were pulling as we were preparing the orchard to get planted and seeded, we came through and we had a ton of rock in there. So I stored the bulk of that smaller rock in an area that would be convenient for me to grab it with the tractor. So, I kind of staged this months in advance, knowing that I'd get to this one day. I'm just going to go up here and show you one that I just did this morning. And my goal is to finish at least 2 complete fence posts up today. And, basically what we're doing is we're putting them directly in line of the orchard. So you can see off in the distance, there's that pier, and we'll have every one of those in front. They're not going to interlock, they're decorative. And it puts a good juice to the, to the rock. If you look way off in the distance, I don't know if I can zoom in, there we go, we'll try it. Okay, so there's a finished product coming in my main driveway to the house. We have them right there by the chicken coop. You can see them standing. And the same exact concept. Now I think on those original ones I might have used a little bit lesser grade wire. But in general they're holding up fine. Those have been in there for a couple years. So back into the orchard, if I can get this phone to work right for me. Okay, so let's see what I can do here. There we go. Alright, so basically I'm just going to the pile over there, scooping up the rock into the bucket. And I filled that pier up probably within an hour. And that one is done. I bring them up pretty close to flush with the top. If you're ever out here mowing, or if I'm ever out here mowing. If you want to come mow, that's perfectly fine. It can be you, but there's room to put a couple in here at the top if we needed to. Again, you can see there's the post that I showed you down there going into it. You can't see nothing at all. Very, very well secured. I'm putting a decent amount of pressure on that. You're not moving it. Now, granted, if you leaned on it and tried to knock it over, you probably could get it to shift and move. But Don't let me catch you doing it to the ones that I've done. You know, again, decorative posts to consume up natural resources of the rock. So I've got that one completed. Pretty cool. Turned out nice. And this one here I'm just now starting on. And basically on the bottom, you know, we got that wire mesh, so I started laying some bigger rock down in there, and then I'll take the smaller rock. You know, as they come up, as you can see, I'll take them and I'll turn them to where they go in between the wires so they don't have any chance of falling out. And then I'll, you know, down in the middle of that, I'll take some of the bigger rock and consume up the space. You know, and also puts weight right smack dab in the center. So as I build it up, smaller rock to the outside, or, you know, bring it around the edge, a little bit bigger rock in the middle to use the space up to get them done quicker. And at the end, these will look the same as those. Now, as you look down through there, you can see the split rail going right down. Phone's adjusting to my finger, but right down through there. And then I think there's at least 4 or 5 more in between us. And I'm not going to pull out a tape measure. I did on this front one to make sure I had enough room to, you know, prune the trees and get the apples or peaches or whatever. I wanted them far enough off my trail that I could mow without blowing the grass on there, so I can turn and, you know, come into this. And when it's done, it's going to look pretty cool. On the right side of the trail, I have some pretty good size rock. You're not going to move those by hand. There's the trail going down through there, so you can kind of get the idea of how that's going to look as we go out. I just have to take a second and tell you, look at that gosh darn cornfield, man. I'm telling you, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Hey, sorry about the interruption there, but at any rate, so there's what we got going on. I maybe do another video after I get it done, but very simple to do. And like I said, there is no limit to the design that you can do on it. I will say, if you try to do something square or any bigger than the 18, you could end up on, you know, with problems of the wire bowing out from the weight of the rock. The 17-inch, I think it's 29 squares. And when you double it up, you know, so it comes out to like 17 and a half inches. And all of them I found, no problems with them whatsoever. Super compliments on it. Look cool, look natural, look ranchous. Perfect addition to Blue Torpedo. And for me, the rock is free. And even if I run out of all that rock, I have plenty more. So who knows what the heck over time I'll build with these things. At any rate, and we'll get back to putting rock in there. Thanks for watching. If you like it, share it, subscribe, give me a like. Blue Torpedo Life on the Mountain. Decorative fence post using the mountain rock. Gotta love it. Have a good day.